Okay, so got Instagram going, Facebook going. I think we're all set. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the PT on Ice Daily Show. My name is Guillermo Contreras, physical therapist out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am a TA with the fitness athlete division as well as the modern management of the older adult. And happy Labor Day to everybody out there. Hope you're enjoying. If you have a day off, hope you're enjoying your day off with family, friends, whatever it may be. But just as long as you're enjoying your day, happy Monday as well. So real quick introduction right here. Clinical Management Fitness Athlete Essential Foundations starting up next week, our next cohort on September 14th, next Monday. So if you've been looking to get into that, there's still spots available. So make sure you jump on ptonice.com and sign up for that. If you've been looking at the pregnancy and postpartum athleticism course with Christina and Kelsey, that also starts up next week. It's part of the fitness athlete division. So next Monday, that next cohort starts up. If you've been looking to modern management of the older adult, they are just starting up a cohort, I believe. So next one is October 28th. So you got a little while before you can take that one. But again, make sure you keep that in your calendar. October 28th is when that next one starts up. And if you've been really craving some live action with clinical management fitness athlete, next Saturday, Sunday, Mitch and Alan, I believe, are going to be down in Tennessee at CrossFit Hendersonville with Zach and Alexis Morgan. So make sure you check that out if you've been dying to do that, or if you want a reason to head to Nashville and then hang out with those guys for Fitness Athlete Live. And then if you want to hang out with the entire Fitness Athlete crew, Zach, Mitch, Alan, unfortunately not myself, on October 5th and 4th and 5th? 5th and 6th? That weekend in October, they're going to be down in North Carolina. So make sure you head to the website, check out our courses, live courses, and digital courses or online courses, and give it a go, and especially sign up and check it out if you've been dying to take any of those courses. They fill up fast, so make sure you jump on it and don't wait too long, especially for the live ones. Okay. So today I'm talking about training through pain, and more importantly, what that means is being an ally to barbell and fitness athletes alike. So whether they be athletes or recreational athletes or enthusiasts, whatever you want to call them, when they walk into your clinic, if they are someone who uses a barbell for fitness, uses a barbell for wellness or for sport, the last thing they want to hear a lot of times, most of the time, is you need to stop. Like, stop exercising, stop doing what you're doing, take some time off, right? Ideally, what we're dealing with, especially when someone has, and specifically I'm talking about low back pain here, is they want to know that, one, you walk the walk, you talk the talk. You know what they're talking about. When they mention a barbell back squat or a low bar back squat or a front squat or an overhead squat, whatever it may be, or even like a deadlift, it's really important to understand what they mean. So you gotta understand that, and you gotta understand the mentality of that. For a lot of these people, that is how they get their stress out. That is their community, especially if you're talking about CrossFit athletes or even weightlifters, right? Their community, their social interaction a lot of time is in the gym. So by you saying like you need to stop doing these things, a lot of time that's you saying you need to stop hanging out with friends, stop spending time with people you enjoy spending time with, stop doing something that helps you de-stress and feel really good. So it's really important we understand that a lot of times telling them completely to stop is not important, and it's even more important to understand their pain and help them be able to continue doing even an aspect of what they want to do. So number two, and I didn't even say numbers in the beginning, but the next thing is we want to know, we have to assess and we have to know what's going on. If they're coming in with low back pain, that can mean a whole gamut of things. But when it comes to barbell sports, typically we're going to be talking about whether more of a hinge pattern, which looks like this actually, or more of a squatting pattern where the torso is more upright or where the torso is more inclined. So we need to understand, is their back much more compressive intolerance, which would be that nice axial load of the barbell on the shoulders with the torso staying upright, same with like push pressing and anything like that? Or is it a lot more shear intolerant, which would be more of a deadlift or more of a hinging movement that bothers them much more? We need to understand those, because unless we know for sure which one is more intolerant or which one causes more pain, we can't really dose anything out, and we can't give them something to do in the gym. If we want them to continue being a part of the community, if we want to come alongside them and say, like, you know what, I understand fitness is very important for you, I understand weightlifting is very important for you, let me find ways that we can keep you interactive in that community and keep you lifting or using barbells or whatever it is you're looking for. So assessing it, figuring out, right, the Jeff Moore quote we use a lot, you can't make good decisions with bad data. You have to understand what it is that hurts them, what position, what movement it is that bothers them, as well as maybe what loads. Maybe they can handle a 20 or 30% load, so maximal load, something light, something on their shoulders, something maybe you can drill in some tempo work versus going really fast and dynamic and explosive. Or maybe they don't hurt until they have 80, 90% of their max on their shoulders, right? Something that's like a 9 or 10 out of 10 difficulty. If that's the case, one, you should be assessing that in the clinic. You should be throwing a barbell on their back. You should be getting them nice and warmed up, loading them up at that weight and see what is happening at that weight. And again, if you're not sure how to assess those things, next week's essential course, right? Starting next Monday, you can learn about the squat, the deadlift, the press, all those movements there. But we need to assess and figure out what it is that bothers them, so then we can give them something that they can use to continue to train the way they want to train. So then, like I mentioned, we want to know, is it a shear intolerant or compressive intolerant? Is an axial load that bothers them? Is that barbell on the shoulder putting like stress on their back? They're struggling to maintain midline. Is it more of a shear intolerance where when we're deadlifting, which we want a nice kind of hinge pattern where we're kind of pulling and we have the weight in front of us a little bit? Is that what's more bothersome? Once we know that, that's when we can start to give some modifications or some changes that can allow them to continue to train at their gym, at their home, wherever it is they train. For me, what I usually find out is if it's a axial load that's unpainful, they can't handle it sitting on them when they're sitting for a long period of time, it starts to bother them. Squatting is more painful, especially with a high bar. What we want to do is, okay, is it shear intolerant? Does it hurt to be hinged forward? Is it that too painful? If not, can we give some modifications? My three favorite ones are probably going to be, for an axial load that's painful, is going to be a low bar back squat, which is going to have just more of an inclined torso, so forward torso more, which is going to give them a little bit more hip dominance. It's going to keep the shins back a little bit more. So a low bar back squat. From there, you can also do a box squat where they actually have to sit back onto a box, which is going to help encourage the hips sitting back, the torso coming forward. And again, you can maintain that low bar rack position as well. And then if like the squat in general, just anything on the shoulders is not comfortable at all, that's where we're going to say, okay, maybe we're not squatting, but can we deadlift? Can we deadlift? Or my absolute favorite that a lot of people aren't too familiar with is a belt squat. Can you take a dip belt? Can you stand on top of two boxes, sturdy boxes that aren't going to fall over anything? Can you hang a weight from that belt that's now wrapped around your hips, and can you squat there, right? We can still load the legs up. The legs, the hips get worked, but we take all the load off of the shoulders, and it's just going through the hips and the legs completely. So if you're not sure what a belt squat is, Google it or YouTube it, check it out, or again, jump on to the Essentials or a live course. We can talk a little bit more, even demo it there for you guys. Now, let's say we have someone with a shear intolerance, so they can't handle hinging. They don't like hinging. The deadlift is really painful. For some reason, they're doing good mornings. Good mornings are painful. Romanian deadlifts are painful, right? So what do? We pull back from the hinge patterns. We take that away a little bit, right? So now instead of doing a hard deadlift, and if they want to keep deadlifting, can we find a way to make them more upright, right? Can we take away some of that shear force on their low back? Can we put the bar up on some bumper plates? Can we raise it up about a foot off the ground? So now they're starting up with a more upright torso and they're pulling from knee to hip, right? So taking away that maximal shear force when they're fully flexed forward and getting their torso more upright. Can we use a different implement? Does your gym have a trap bar? Trap bars are really nice because they sit inside of it. They're typically going to be sitting a lot more upright. It's going to be a lot more quad dominant movement. Again, the torso is more upright, a lot less inclined forward. Another option is also just like two kettlebells on each side. Same thing, kind of that same trap bar setup, but now that they're on the side. So it's like a suitcase deadlift, I would call it, but like double suitcase deadlift versus just one. And then again, we're looking at those. And then again, if they can't handle something in their shoulders pulling forward in the torso, can we find a way to still load them up? One way is, can we wrap a band around a rig? Can we have that band around their hips? Can we use a dowel on their back? And can they let that band pull their hips back and then they pull their hips forward? So again, we're still loading the hips in some way. We can do some lighter weights if they can't handle a lot of weight, but can they go light? And then we change the force by putting the band around their hips too. And now we have the force pulling their hips back. The load is in their hands, so we're still getting some shear stress on the back to kind of, again, desensitize and get that a little bit stronger, especially as they're starting to progress a little bit more. And that's a really good way to do it. You can also do through the hips and kind of do a banded pull through. There's also a kettlebell swing, which is going to be a very extension or flexion based and kind of a little bit, but there's a lot of different options out there. So the big thing we're trying to say is in general, if you have athletes who are coming in to see you, who are in pain, who have low back pain, who do not want to be told like, hey, you need to stop deadlifting, you need to stop squatting, you need to stop doing this or that. We need to educate ourselves. We need to learn more. We need to understand these movements, and I think we honestly need to practice these movements. If you are not yourself squatting, deadlifting to some capacity, I'm not saying you have to be out there squatting and deadlifting 300, 400, 500 pounds or double body weight or anything like that. More power to you if you are. That's awesome because you are a strong individual. But if we don't understand these movements, if we don't understand the demands of the deadlift, of the squat, of an overhead press, and how that can affect our back as well, or our athletes or our patients' backs, it's very hard for us to really come alongside these individuals and be allies for them. It's really hard for them to trust us too. I'm going to tell you right now, a CrossFitter can sniff out someone who has no idea what they're talking about and who's just trying to like spit some game but doesn't practice what they preach. Like they can tell. They know when you know and when you don't. They can tell when you understand the movement and the demands. They can tell when you know like, okay, how important it is to be in that community. And when you tell them like, hey, don't go hard, you have to go really easy, go light, you should say like, oh, there's no reason you should be deadlifting that much weight. They hear something like that, they're checking out. Like, they're not going to listen. They'll appreciate your help. I'm sure they'll still be kind and courteous, everything like that. But when you're telling someone like, yeah, you can't do anything, you need to stop doing everything, and you can't help them find a way to continue to stay fit, stay active, that's a hard sell. It's a hard sell. So highly recommend everybody, again, it doesn't have to be CrossFit, but like anything, like kettlebell deadlifts, get a light barbell, like something along those lines, so you can practice these movements, get comfortable with them, understand how you can modify and vary them to allow individuals to continue to train through pain, through injury. It's very important. Even doing single leg variations to kind of lighten the load a lot. There's so many ways you can modify these things, and you do not have to be a strength and conditioning specialist or an expert to understand them. You just need to practice them. You need to try them. You need to do them. So I think that's it. I think that makes sense, right? Hopefully everyone gets that. That's nothing mind-blowing or anything like that. But again, if you are someone who's interested in this, who you see a lot of these athletes come in, and you want to find a way to continue to keep them in their gym, you have a good relationship with a CrossFit gym locally, and you want to be a little bit more involved there. This is something you can teach coaches too if they're not sure how to modify movements or change things for athletes who come in and they just say, hey, just go ride the Airdyne for half an hour while we're in class. You can go in and do workshops like this. You can help those gyms know how to treat their members in a better way, to provide a better source or a resource for them. And you can be that guide and you can be that resource for them with your knowledge, with your expertise of the human body, of the back, of how stresses are going to modify differently depending on where load is placed. All those things are something that we at physical therapy as movement experts should be doing for all our patients, as well as any athlete that comes in through our door. So that's all I got for you today. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully I didn't speak too quickly. I didn't think I did, but you never know. Again, guys, if you are interested at all in learning more about squatting, deadlifting, these modifications, any of these things, please check out ptonis.com. Head to the website. Our next online cohort for Essentials is next Monday. If you're working with special population like pregnant or postpartum athletes, check out Christina and Kelsey's course. That also starts up next Monday. And again, if you've been dying to take a live course, we got 2 coming up in the next month. So head to the website, check those out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.